Hello and welcome to the Big Branch Cincinnati Reds Facebook page video. It's been a while since we've done one of these. This is going to be really a wrap up of the first half, a look at the second half and some things that are going on right now that I've noticed. Haven't seen a lot of writers writing about some of these things, but here we go. First of all, we are at 41 and 46, and we're 4.5 games out of first place in the Central. That's a very critical thing because the Central Division is packed, and it's packed very tightly. But if the Reds really want to have a chance to contend this year, and they do have a good chance, it's not going to be through playing in games or getting in with a wild card. The wild card is just not going to do it. They're going to have to win the division to really have a legitimate shot. Of course, then again, there's other factors that work in there. But let's go through the recap, and I'm going to go through person by person real quick, give you my thoughts. I hope I don't shock too many of you because I got a few things that aren't very common held beliefs, so here we go. First of all, last year we were 43 and 53. We were 12.5 games out, so we're in much better shape this year. Raciel Puig. Now he's becoming more of what we thought we were getting recently. Right now, I would offer him a 2 to 3 year extension if he wishes to take it. He likes Cincinnati. Cincinnati likes him. He's a colorful character. He puts people in the seats, so the front office likes him. We've got the money to do that. I think that we should try to do that. It would work out very well, I think, in our favor. Senzel, wow. He's a lunch pail workhorse, folks. He's done the job. He's done everything he's asked. He's played a new position he's never played before. He's really done well. I got the feeling in the second half he may go to second base, depending on trade scenarios and so on. Iglesias, keep him. Sign him to a 3-year, $18 million contract. He would take that in a heartbeat rather than go on the tepid free agent market the last couple of years. Some people call it collusion. I don't care what you call it. The market has cooled down. Extensions are going to be easier to get now for the owners, and I would jump on it like a big dog with Iglesias. That ties up shortstop with a great defensive shortstop. He's also, people think he's hitting great this year, but he's right at his career average right now. Jose Peraza, flop. He's a multi-dimensional player. I give him that. But he swings at anything. He has no bat control whatsoever. He's a slapper, so he's not going to hit for much power. I really don't have much confidence in Peraza. Use him as trade bait. We'll get into that later. Suarez, he really needs to make contact. The inside strike, take, and then the outside slider so far out that his bat can't hit it for strike 3. Everybody's onto that. They were onto that the end of last year. They were onto that in Japan. That's why he had to sit down for Kiki Hernandez to take his place from the Dodgers. He was hitting 202. He was sit down for a 202 hitter. So everybody knows what Suarez is doing. Yeah, he's hitting some home runs, but he's not winning many games. Other than with a couple of home runs here and there. He's not winning many games with men on base because he's not making contact. He's got to go do better with that. Joey Votto, Joey's Joey. He's going to play. He is turning around. He has had some slow first halves. He's getting better. So with this contract, he's going to play, and I think his own base percentage is going to get much better. Derek Dietrich. Love the guy. He had a great beginning, but now he's regressing back to his career numbers. And there's a couple of teams that have him on their radar as trade bait. Do it. Trade him. We've got other versatile players we can do just as well, and I don't think Dietrich's going to do as well as he did in the first 2/3 of the first half. Jeanette, hard to tell. I mean, really, keeps getting hurt. We don't know what the deal is there. I think Jeanette's going to end up walking. And that's fine. He's a liability defensively at second base. Senzel would be a whole lot better. We can get a center fielder. We got people to be able to move into center field next year. Not real worried. I know everybody loves Scooter, and he's a great guy. Don't get me wrong, but this is baseball, and you got to have a good field, the best team you can. Winker was good last year, impressed people, but this year, all of his stats, I mean, he's regressing to his career, back to some of his things he was doing in his minor league career. He's 35% or worse in all batting statistics compared to last year. Just too uneven. And again, he's a good solid corner outfielder. He could be used as trade bait. Castillo, what can I say? We hoped and we thought this was what he could be. So we might see the blossoming of a #1 here, and that's good. DeSclafani, he's uneven. I'd keep him at 5th. Wood is coming back, or if not Wood, another starter, which will lead me into Mr. Malley here in a second. But keep him there. If another pitcher's added, let's see what he's doing. I think DeSclafani is a good 4th or 5th, but you know he's Homer Bailey back in the good days. Malley. Well, he's going to Louisville when Wood comes back, and from what everybody's hearing, Wood is coming back. So as soon as he does, you know, Malley does have big league experience for 2 years, as a lot of people would like to have him. He could be used as trade bait, or he could go to Louisville to do some work. Roark, man mentioned in trades more than anybody. One of 2 Reds, him and Dietrich, are the 2 main most people mention. Wow, he's dependable. He stops losing streaks. Wow, as far as I'm concerned, you keep Roark. If a good trade comes about, and I've got a scenario later we'll talk about, that's fine. But right now, that would be messing with the starting pitching chemistry too much. So for now, I'd probably hold on him. Sonny Gray, he loves Cincinnati. He's out of the pressure cooker in New York. Things I was talking about in the offseason, why they should sign him, and after they did, why they should lock him up, which they did. He loves Derek Johnson. He's getting his feet wet and getting back into it. I think he's going to get better as this second half goes on, and I think this is going to we're going to look back and say, wow, this was one of the good deals the Reds have done. Okay, here we go. Farmer's versatile, but he doesn't get enough at bats. He really needs more at bats, and he might need to go to Louisville to get those at bats, and then prove himself down there and get his bat back around, and we'll see what happens. Next, Josh Van Meter has done decent. His first time up, second time he got called up. He and Puig were our offense that last game against Cleveland. Van Meter can hit. He was hitting .331 when he came up to the Reds. He played for the Reds for a while, then got back sent to Louisville. He's now hitting .353. He just added to that awesome batting average when he was sent back down. He deserves to be there, but a lot of people are looking at this. Are they grooming him as a multi-position player, or are they showcasing him for a trade? Who knows? Phil Irvin, another ex-Louisville guy. Irvin does well with starts. They're going to have to find these starts if they're going to keep him there. Van Meter can come off the bench. Irvin's not real good at coming off the bench, so we're going to have to see how we can get him some more at-bats. David Hernandez, I've lost all confidence in him. People are showing his FIP of 2.7 something, saying he's unlucky. I don't find doubles off the wall scoring people inherited runners a lot. I don't find that unlucky. He just is hitting the bats instead of missing them. So if he needs to be trade bait, so be it. Hughes, I would keep, but he's got to improve too. He's not as dependable as he used to be, as he was last year. All of his stats are down terribly. As far as Jimmy Herget and Bowman are concerned, they're just fill-ins right now for injuries. They're not doing very well. Bowman did all right the first couple of times, but you know these guys had 3.9 and 3.7 ERAs at AAA Louisville. So I don't expect him to improve any better within the big leagues. So we'll see how that goes. Michael Lorenzen, I like Michael Lorenzen. He's a great story. He's a great guy, but he's too uneven. He can go in and just be lights out, or he can go in and give up 3 or 4 runs. And I think the problem with that is he doesn't do very well in mop-up duty when we're ahead, but get a pressure-packed save situation or a pressure-packed high-leverage situation, he seems to get psyched He gets a little more zip and 1 or 2 more miles an hour on that fastball. The slider breaks a little better, and he's a whole different pitcher. Let's move on to Jose Iglesias. Iglesias, I'm sorry, I've lost all confidence in him. Yeah, he had the save the other night, but he's blown so many. I mean, he's what, 3-7 or 3-8 now. No, he didn't even get the wins. He got the save, so he's still 2-7. Don't like the record. There are some trade scenarios. Although I was looking on 3 top 20 relief pitcher shopping lists for contenders, and it's odd that Iglesias is not on any one of those top 20 relief pitchers that people are eyeballing that they want to give him a push in the stretch run, which tells me his value is plummeted, so we're probably going to end up keeping him. A catcher, man, it's a weak link, folks. I mean, love Tucker Barnhart. Farmer's filled in as a backup to Kirk Casale. Casale is not hitting like last year. He's not doing nearly as well as last year. So right now we basically have 3 negative WAR substitutes at catcher. And Tucker still has some trade value, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. So really, basically, folks, the first half were 5 games more improved than last year, which doesn't seem like a whole lot, but the whole Central Division is tighter. We do have a chance to make a run at it this year. We weren't even close last year, being as far out as we were. So if we want to make a run for it, we're going to have to change things around, make a couple of trades. So the second half, for trade bait, we have Peraza, Dietrich, Malley, possibly Van Meter, Hughes, Hernandez, Iglesias. We also have some people are coveting Lucas Sims at AAA. Got the feeling we'll hang on to him. I don't see him in a trade scenario. The Reds like what they see from him. Also, we have Winker or Irvin, as well as Tucker Barnhart, in addition to these other people. So we have 10 people that we can pull a trade for, and expect a trade before the deadline with the Reds. One that makes a lot of sense. The Mets want to get rid of Wilson Ramos. He's a proven catcher. He's a great offensive catcher. He always has been and is this year. Decent behind the plate, is on par with Tucker the way he's playing this year, and on par with Casale. So I'm looking at a trade in which Ramos and Seth Lugo, who is a reliever for the Mets and one of their better ones, to the Reds for Barnhart and Iglesias and a low to mid prospect. That would give us an offensive-minded catcher who's a solid catcher behind the plate. That would give the Mets a backup catcher to the guy who is coming in behind Ramos. They just feel they're paying too much money and want to just get rid of him. And that gives them in Iglesias a reliever that they have under control for 3 to 4 years. Outfield. The Reds have already said they want a controllable hitter. Now, there's a couple out there that are very good, and one is Clint Frazier from New York. Everyone, if you watch the Yankees, they're butt deep in outfielders. Frazier was sent down to AAA when Giancarlo Stanton was coming back. He was hitting .287, very good power, very offensive-minded. Needs a little work on defense, but we have the staff to do that. I mean, not a lot of work. He's not bad. He's on par with Winker. He's like a Winker who can hit .283 with lots of power. And he's controllable for 4 years. Looking at him. And Yasmani Tomas with the Diamondbacks. He is expendable, even though he's a very good controllable bat. And the Diamondbacks do have a stacked system with outfielders. Right now, possible scenario, Clint Frazier. Send Hughes and Winker, and we get Frazier and Domingo Acevedo, who is a relief pitcher. He's in Double-A right now, but he is just lights out, and he's not really one of the New York's highest prospects. So New York's getting a dependable reliever in Hughes and a dependable outfielder in Winker to replace Frazier in the mix, so they're not really sliding back. And we get Frazier and Domingo Acevedo. Uh, Yasmani Tomas, that's an easy one. We can get him. The Diamondbacks, they need a multi-positional player, left-handed power bat. That would be Dietrich. And right now, for placeholder's sake, we'll say Roark. They need a dependable, low rotation pitcher. And if we send Roark, then we keep Sims. Sims moves up. That kind of messes with what I was saying earlier about keeping the chemistry alive with the pitchers, but that is what it is. A couple of odd moves the Reds have done lately. If you take a look, Sal Romano, and I made a post earlier on the page, Sal Romano started 2 games, the last 2 games. He's had 33 appearances, 31 as a relief pitcher. In the last 2 games, all of a sudden, he's pitching as a starter. That's very odd. That's very odd. Don't know if they're showcasing him, thinking of bringing him up. I don't know why, but if usually that means that somebody's looking at Romano as a throw-in to a trade. So it kind of gave me some red flags. Also, Brian O'Grady. He's a left fielder, first baseman. He is mashing at Louisville, hitting very, very well. He's now been moved to center field. Senzel to second, O'Grady to center. I don't know. Could be, or we could be shopping him again for trades, because we do have a couple of glaring needs if we're going to make a run. So there's the odd moves, possibly a setup. We'll see what the Reds are going to do. In the second half, we need a couple of pieces, as I pointed out, catcher and a good hitting outfielder. We need more clutch hits. We're leaving too many on base. Some of that's going to come around. But we really have to have a hitting catcher and another hitting outfielder, assuming Puig keeps his streak going here. The Cubs and Brewers are going to better themselves, folks. They've already said before the trade deadline, you're going to see those two doing some trades. So that's going to leave us behind if we don't at least stay up. Now, there is also the thing that we have people that are hitting behind their numbers, a lot of them, that we should have won in a lot of pundits' opinions, 6 more games than what we have now. And we should actually be 1 game above 500 at this point, all things considered. So we have a little bit of catch up there, but we still have to improve ourselves if we're going to make a run. Again, the play-in game or to get into the wild card or a wild card is not going to be the way the Reds are going to get in to the playoffs and make any kind of a move at all. Also, we need 1 or 2 more reliable relief pitchers, whether that comes internally or whatever. Right now, we do have injuries. Wandy Peralta, Garrett should be back after the All-Star break. He has just been lights out. You got to admit, the guy's he's been right there. He's going to be right there for a while, so not worried about that. Peralta had a good outing for 1 inning last night in his first rehab. He looks like he's moving that hip around and getting his body around better now, so hopefully that will help, because we really, in the last 5-6 games of the first half, have not had any left-handed relief pitching at all. And in the Cleveland, in the Cleveland series, it showed, and it showed badly. We got hurt having people pitching to a bunch of lefties in a lineup, and they stacked them, which any team would, because we didn't have that. So we get 2 back. I need somebody to replace Hernandez to be more dependable, and Lorenzen to get his stuff together, and we should be good there. But the thing of it is, we have the trade chips without even touching any of our top prospects. And by the way, Taylor Trammell was awesome. He should have been the MVP again in the Futures game. He knocked in the first run for the National League, and he was on third. Replays show he stole home, which would have been a third run, and even with the 2-run home run by the American League, the National League would have won, but they called him out because they didn't have replay available, which they have promised next year they will. But he was clearly safe. Just another excellent outing for him. We're looking at him coming up next year. We've got some players, Rob Refsnyder. We're stacked up with outfielders hitting 300 or better like crazy in Louisville. So it's looking up, and folks, keep your chin up, because one good hot streak and we could just do some shooting. Everything's packed within 4.5 games, a good 5-6 game streak, and we've had a couple of those, and a 6-game streak, and who knows. And also the fact that I was reading today that 15 of our last 20 games are against teams with a losing record and are power rated under us. And the last 4 games of the season are against the Miami Marlins. And we know, other than Baltimore, how good they are. So things are looking up a little bit. Hang in there. Don't get worried. Keep cheering. We're gonna have a decent year no matter what. But I got the feeling with some of the pitching pulling the starters early and that kind of thing, they're saving for a stretch run. We're going to have a stretch run, and we just need a couple of pieces to make it work. And I really think we can actually contend this year. If not, tryouts continue. We see who we sign next year. We've got tons of money, so we'll see who shakes out and who does and who doesn't, and where it all ends up. But that's the first half for the Reds. Like I said, hang in there, fans. Come on. And I've got my Fred Norman number 32 jersey on. Fred Norman was one of my heroes growing up. Nothing super fast, just a good, solid, steady, like a Tanner Rowe arc with more different pitches, and we got fingers on our hands. So little salute to Fred there. Hang in there, folks. I'll have another video here pretty soon, sooner than the end of the half, and we'll see where it goes from here. You all have a great, wonderful, blessed day, and we will talk to you later.